that the South African media wants to create an impression that the DA is the one that brought the case before the court. But we know who owns the South African media. It is owned by white monopoly capital. And white monopoly capital is not a friend of the EFF. That's why they will never praise the EFF, even if the EFF does good. So we are not worried about them, because the correct history will be reflected in the correct history books. The media will not give a historical account, but our own progressive forces will write the true history for future generations. All we wanted was to get a president, the head of the executive, to be accountable. That's all we're doing. We have no problem with the man. We have a problem with everyone who's not compliant with the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. So we are saying that today the head of the executive is before court and explaining why he must not pay or why he must pay. He gave us some Mickey Mouse deal which we have rejected. We said to him, we are not accepting your deal. So as we speak now, the court has started, and our counsel is now leading the presentations before the full bench of the Constitutional Court, which is headed by the Chief Justice Mokgwe. We are saying to the Constitutional Court, please do the right thing. This matter, it is in the interest of the nation, and therefore we must bring it to finality, because people have reported about it, have spoken about it for far too long now, and therefore it has to come to an end. We say whatever victory we are going to achieve today in the Constitutional Court, it must be dedicated to fearless journalist Mendy Rousseau, who's no longer with us, the first journalist who reported about this matter in the Mail and Guardian. Unlike the journalists who prefer brown envelopes over the truth. She wrote about it first, and she even repeated it many times before she passed away. We are grateful to such journalism, to journalists who are always prepared to speak truth to power. We salute her, and we think that her fearless character should inspire many journalists who are reporting about the executive today. So all of us, we are here to uphold the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. So fellow fighters, we must ensure that we act in a disciplinary manner. We must ensure that whatever action we are going to embark upon, we do not create unnecessary tension. Later on, we'll brief you about what is going to happen to the Guptas, because we have two things to do today. We have the Constitutional Court and we have the Guptas to attend to. So we need fearless characters to take charge, because the Guptas must leave South Africa. We have written 25 reasons why the Guptas must leave South Africa. There's nothing xenophobic about that. You can't say a rapist is not a rapist because you are accused that if you say so, they will say you are racist or you are tribalist or you are xenophobic. The Guptas are criminals who are milking our state money. Now today, they've taken us to court that we must no longer say anything about the Guptas. If South African courts want to suppress the freedom of speech in South Africa, let them do it. Because we have a right as politicians to critique every role player in the media, in the economy, in politics, in society in general. And no one should dare take away that right from us. People have died for us to express ourselves freely without any fear. People have died for us to have a right to protest. And whatever we are going to do today, it is going to be a peaceful protest. It will depend on how police react to such protests, because it is a peaceful protest. So we are not going to be harassed by police here in protection of the Guptas and their friend Jacob Zuma. The journalists of ANN7 and New Age are more than welcomed here. They are our members. But they must not come representing those thugs. If they want to come on their own, they are free to come. And there is no one, no editorial comment, no analyst, no one, not even a court, can force us to invite the Guptas to our events. We don't want them. We have a right to invite whoever we so wish to invite. Like we invited all of you here. You have been writing wrong things about us, but we have no problem. You are more than welcome, because you are working for genuine media houses and not for criminal enterprises which are involved in money laundering and racketeering. So if you are a proper journalist representing proper media house, you are more than welcome. Don't ask us to legitimize the Guptas, because by inviting them, it means we are legitimizing them. It means we are saying you are a genuine media house, whereas we know that they are not a genuine media house. They are a front. They are stealing money. For instance, in the Morning Live SABC, the Morning Live has been covering events in the morning without any sponsorship from state-owned enterprises. When there were matric results, Morning Live will cover that, including hosting panels the following day in the morning. When there is a state of the nation, Morning Live will cover that and host breakfast in the morning without asking Eskom for money, Telkom for money. Now the Guptas came and said the New Age will start hosting those shows. The same shows which were happening, they are now being paid for by government departments, by state-owned enterprises. Something that was done for free, now you are paying for because the Guptas are involved. You are not paying for anything. That is a way of stealing money from the state. They take it in a form of payment to the Guptas, and then they go and take it from the other side to Zuma. They throw it like a javelin. They throw it from this side and catch it this side. So they are not legitimate media houses. We are the protectors of media freedom. When the ANC said, don't buy City Press, we said buy City Press. Despite the fact that City Press reported badly about us. So we want to warn all the companies that are buying the New Age in bulk. You are supporting crime. The SAA, you are supporting crime. all financial institutions like Alexandra Forbes, you are buying New Age and giving it to your workers free of charge, you are supporting crime. Stop buying the New Age because it's not a newspaper, it's a front for criminal activities. No court can stop us from saying that. And if a court wants to stop us from saying that, we are going to say it either way. They will have to lock us up for telling the truth that Guptas are involved in money laundering and racketeering. We say that without fear. Guptas give money. Guptas give money, millions and millions of rands to Jacob Zuma. Zuma said he had a bond to build Nkandla. Today he makes a U-turn and say he will pay the money. That money is a lot of money. According to Special Investigating Unit, SIU, the money is almost 155 million. Where will Zuma get 155 million? Because he said he will pay now. Now he says he will pay. The question is, where will you get the money? And if you are going to be given the money by the Guptas, it means Zuma said, Pravin, use their money to pay them. They are using your own money to pay you. Because Pravin, who is also a puppet of white monopoly capital, is going to take from your taxes and pay Zuma's money. You can't trust these criminals, all of them. We are treating them with suspicion. So Zuma, the president who loves the Constitution, who subscribes to transparency, where will you get the money to pay 155 million? So we are protecting our Constitution. There were reports that members of the intelligence, 3 of them, senior leaders of the South African Security Agency, were fired in South Africa because they went to Jacob Zuma and said to him, the Guptas are compromising our national security. And he said, you're talking bad about my friends, you are fired. All of them today, they are gone because they said the Guptas are doing illegal things. Somebody has to stop the Guptas. Now, Gwede Mantashe says, yeah, these people are speaking about the Guptas because they are black. They never spoke about white families which are involved in business with black leaders. Gwede, you must tell us. Mjebe must tell us. Which white family landed a plane at Waterkloof? Which white family compromised the national security of South Africa? Which white family is stealing money in the name of the media houses? If Gwede, you want to target white families, go and do it yourself. We are targeting these ones. We won't do it on your behalf. We are not friends with the Oppenheimer families. The ANC is friends with the Oppenheimer family. We are not friends with the Ruperts. The ANC is friends with the Ruperts. Not only the ANC, including President Mandela, had permanent dinners with the Ruperts, with the Oppenheimers, with the white families. We've always said that. We said that when we were in the ANC, that Trevor Manuel is an agent of white families which are rich in South Africa. We said that. Where were you, Gwede? You are still playing with yourself without knowing what are the real issues in South Africa. We said that in the ANC ourselves. We said Trevor Manuel is working for the Rothschild, is working for the Rupert family. That's why he's advocating for neoliberal economic policies. We said Nene, the same fired Nene, he's not our friend. He was working for white monopoly capital. They say to us, you are going to the Guptas, you are not targeting white capital. For sure you are talking about someone else and not the EFF. Because the EFF is the only organization that went to Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the home and the seat of white capital in South Africa. Who are you talking about? There is no one here in South Africa who has given white capital sleepless nights except the EFF. I'm told we'll give you a proper report about our previous march. All those companies in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange are now beginning to approach people for BEE. They are saying we must transform. Otherwise the EFF is coming back because of your march. Now, the last point is that we went to London and we got money from London. I want to tell you that we didn't get any money from London. But we wish we had money from London because we need money to fight elections. We are not ashamed about that. Because the same ANC got money from London during apartheid to fight apartheid. Why do you stop us from getting money from London to fight you, the ANC? Because you use the same money to fight apartheid. Hey, we are staying with you here in South Africa. O.R. Tambo stayed in London. Thabo Mbeki stayed in London. The ANC had an office in London. The ANC got money in America, in London, and everywhere else where we had anti-apartheid movement. And we are grateful for those people who donated money to us South Africans to fight apartheid. We are saying to them, there is a new apartheid here in South Africa. We need more to defeat this new apartheid. Hey, Hodio, you got money from London. Hodio, you got money from London. Money London. ANC, ask them, who donated the Shell House? Who donated the ANC office Shell House? It was the same capital they were pretending to be fighting against. Don't be ashamed. We didn't get money from London. But if we get, we will tell you that we got some assistance to fight these bastards, because you can't fight them without money. There are a lot of international communities who are not happy with what is happening here in South Africa. They can see a black man is still suffering in the land of his own, and those who stole our land continue to be privileged. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of left organizations internationally who subscribe to Marxism and Lenin who are saying we want to contribute to the struggles of black people in South Africa, because the only Marxist-Leninist organization in South Africa is the EFF. So don't be ashamed. Don't allow your enemy to tell you how you must fight them. Huh? How better uppercut or kick, but I was come better so. We don't play like that. The ANC is under siege. We are putting too much pressure on them. It is for the first time they get a real opposition. The next 5 years, they are in trouble. We are coming for them in the Tshwane municipality. We are coming for them in the Ekurhuleni. We are coming for them in Johannesburg. We are coming for them in Western. We are coming for them in City Bay. We are coming for them in all municipalities. We are going to fight with them because they do not represent the true agenda that seeks to uplift the living conditions of black people. We are fighting for a black nation and we are not ashamed. That's who we are. So fellow fighters, let us go and strengthen our branches. Now the battle goes to Constitutional Court. Please don't ask me to talk about people who want to be like me. So I'm not going to say anything about people who dream of being Malema. Huh? You saw another one on TV trying to be Malema, but he's useless. So those are kids, we leave them to student command to deal with them. We deal with their father. You must see what is going to happen on Thursday. TV. The sugar levels are going to go very high. Yesterday is trying to counter us. We are going to start over to the Pampiri. People will rush to any president because people admire the people they see on TV. Banka picture. After taking a picture with you, they ask the next person, because they saw others taking a picture with him. That's what is happening to Zuma. TV. The bastard. Ayoveta e-wallet. That's what people do. But we know for a fact that South Africans are tired of Jacob Zuma. South Africans are tired of the ANC. South Africans are tired of the Guptas. South Africans are tired of white monopoly capital. South Africans are tired of corruption. South Africans are tired of a murderous regime that killed our people in Marikana. Don't forget that these people have got blood on their hands. Cyril Ramaphosa, #1. So comrades, let's march in a disciplined way. Our regional leaders from time to time will come to you and tell you what is the next step. Just follow the leadership and the command, and if you suspect there is an agent provocateur amongst us, find a way of isolating the agent and attend to it nicely on the sideline. Amanda!
Thank you very much, comrades. We are going to start the march. Let us march, as the Commander-in-Chief has said, with discipline. Members of the media, you probably want us to find you there on the robots. So I advise you to move.
The Constitutional Court will hear arguments in the Nkandla case this morning. The EFF and DA are asking the court to decide whether President Jacob Zuma is bound by the public protector's findings. In 2014, Thuli Madonsela found that Zuma had unduly benefited from the security upgrades at his Nkandla homestead. Our reporter Annika Larsen is outside court this morning. Annika, good morning and thanks for joining us this early. Well, there's a lot of legal issues that are going to be discussed today. First up, obviously, is why does the EFF and the DA believe that the Constitutional Court is the right instance to make a ruling on whether or not the public protector's findings are binding?
Good morning to you, Dan and Yuvek, and it's always a pleasure to join you. We just watched the sun rise from Constitution Hill, and we're ready to bring you all the action, which should kick off at about 10 o'clock this morning. Why is this so important that the Constitutional Court hear this? Well, the EFF and the DA are going to argue for exclusive jurisdictional direct access, which is when you bypass all the other courts, because this is such a politically sensitive issue that only the Constitutional Court can hear it. And a section of the Constitution is going to be key to the arguments that you're going to hear today. It's section 182.1, which is the powers of the public protector. How much power does the public protector have? And section C says she can take appropriate remedial action. What does this mean? Well, the president has in the past said that this doesn't mean he necessarily has to comply with her remedial recommendations, but the public protector has said, well, if you're not going to comply, then you need to apply for a judicial review, and you need to take that to another court so they can overturn her findings. But this just isn't about the legal, Dan. This is also about the political implications here. It's a very big week for President Jacob Zuma. And so I have with me my esteemed senior political correspondent and colleague, Nkandla. Nkandla, what are the political ramifications here that we're looking at today?
Well, Annika, I think this is the big week for President Jacob Zuma, and I think the ANC as well. I remember reading the weekend reports, and they were saying that this is actually a week from hell for the president, because one, if this goes against him, that's a notch on the political parties that have brought this case here. But two, remember that there is so much action that is happening, that will be happening in Parliament on Thursday. There are 3 marches that have been organized, and they have been given a go-ahead by the city of Cape Town. And we know that inside the National Assembly, President Jacob Zuma will again face the EFF, who are going to ask him to explain why he sacked Nkandla as Minister of Finance. So it is a big week, and it's not just for President Jacob Zuma, but I think also by extension the African National Congress.
Super, thank you so much, Nkandla. Well, as you heard, there are political and legal ramifications, but really from the legal side, upholding the power of the public protector, and really going back on that Supreme Court decision, the DA versus the SABC, on the powers of the public protector. Do her recommendations, does her remedial action have to be complied with? And we've got a big team here today, and we will be bringing you all the action as it happens. Please carry on crossing to us. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you very much, Anika. Anika there with Paul Mugambi outside the Constitutional Court, ahead, of course, of 10 o'clock when the court will begin to hear this important Nkandla case.
Mr. Shibambu, thanks for your time. Importantly, one of the key things for this court to do is to accept your matter directly.
Yes.
Are you hoping that that is going to be successful?
Now, already it has been successful. The fact that we are here today is because the Constitutional Court has accepted to directly listen to the case as brought forth by the EFF. So what was going to be dealt with now is not whether the issue must be admitted or not. What we're going to deal with now is the contents of the case itself, like the prayers that we're making to the court, which includes that the public protector's powers and remedial action must be adhered to by the President of the Republic, that the National Assembly must admit that in adopting an illegal report on Nkandla, it flawed, in accepting that President Zuma has basically breached the oath of office and has violated the Constitution by ignoring the remedial action of the public protector. And then the other issues, obviously, is the issues of costs that we have asked the court to declare. So the direct access to court is guaranteed. We are here already. That is why Mr. Zuma was trying to bring a counter offer with regards to the contents of what we're going to be dealing with. The direct access is there. We are here in the court today, and we are going to have a judgment at the end of everything else.
The settlement offer that the President tried to put forward, is that still part of the deal, or is it off the table, seeing that matters now are likely to proceed here?
We rejected Zuma's offer with contempt because it was just a decoy. He was trying to play a delay tactic like he did throughout on this case of Nkandla. You must remember that when the public protector's report was released, it said categorically that he must report to Parliament within 14 days. It took him more than 6 months to come to Parliament to report on an issue which was supposed to report within 14 days. Even after that, he played many other delay tactics of even involving the Minister of Police to reinvestigate an issue which was already investigated. So we rejected that with contempt because we knew that it's just a decoy. We say that the court must proceed on the basis of the prayers that we made to the court and rule upon those prayers. Because we know that even when he says that he wants to pay the money, he is not genuinely saying that. He is just trying to put a decoy so that we can pull off the case, and then he will engage in the gymnastics which has been engaged in throughout to try to avoid accountability to the people of South Africa, to Parliament, and to everyone else whom he must account to. He is basically defying the Constitution through the gymnastics which he is engaged in.
Just very briefly, the matter that you've just touched on, what is at the center of this particular case that you've brought here? Is it to affirm the Constitution? Is it to say President Jacob Zuma does not respect the Constitution and therefore you want this court to basically pronounce on that? Is it?
Look, we want to affirm the centrality of the Constitution of South Africa in our democratic system. It must not be a rule of individuals and of politicians. When they feel like this today, the rules are like this. When they feel like that tomorrow, then the rules must change. We want common rules for all South Africans, which are enshrined in the Constitution. When the Constitution says that a public protector has got the powers to pass remedial action against all those that the public protector's office has investigated, every one of us, all of us must comply to those directives. No one must think that they are above the law, including a president. This is a seminal case because it is going to change and actually educate the whole of society that the Constitution is supreme, it's above all of us. There is no politician, whether voted or not, who would think that they are above the Constitution. We need to affirm the centrality of the Constitution because that is what will protect South Africa's future forever.
All right, and just very briefly, therefore, the members or supporters that you intend bringing here, how many people are we talking, and what is the intention behind bringing demonstrators to this court?
Now look, we are not bringing a lot of people today. We're expecting about 5,000 people who are going to be here. We want them to be the ones that say that Zuma must pay back the money. Actually, they have been saying that in their own corners. But now in a consolidated voice, in the Constitutional Court, they will be raising their voices to say that Zuma pay back the money. And the judges will hear that it is not just an elite battle. It is not just some police battle in parliament where people are fighting over previous differences and grievances. It is the people themselves who are demanding that the money must be paid back as demanded by the remedial actions of the public protector. So they are going to be here. And Zuma will hear them wherever he is, that they are saying that he must pay back the money. And the judges are going to hear them, the resounding call that the money must be paid back. And that is exactly what is going to happen at the end of this process.
All right, thank you very much for your time. The EFF's Deputy President, Mr. Floyd Shivambu.
Our response to Jacob Zuma is very clear, and it is simplified. We're not going to agree to any settlement which doesn't reaffirm the powers of the public protector, and two, that the remedial actions of the public protector are binding, and three, that President Zuma should agree in the settlement that by failing to implement the remedial action of the public protector, he was in breach of the Constitution and the oath of office. Because we will not agree that he had all the right to behave in a manner he did. So we are not going to be party to any settlement which does not speak to those 3 points. Asked for upgrades. He said he will never pay a cent. Today he comes and says, oh, I will pay. Because he thinks by agreeing to pay, he will buy time. This is what Zuma is doing. He says in the settlement, let these people resolve this matter within 90 days. We must check from the 9th what will be the 90th day. If the 90th day is somewhere in June, then by the 90th day, Zuma's people from the Auditor General's office and from finance are going to ask for extension. And by the time that extension comes to an end, the elections will be gone. Asked for upgrades. He said he will never pay a cent. Today he comes and says, oh, I will pay. Because he thinks by agreeing to pay, he will buy time. This is what Zuma is doing. He says in the settlement, let these people resolve this matter within 90 days. We must check from the 9th what will be the 90th day. If the 90th day is somewhere in June, then by the 90th day, Zuma's people from the Auditor General's office and from finance are going to ask for extension. And by the time that extension comes to an end, the elections will be gone.